Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, and today I am doing a palette bingo slash first impression on the brand new Oden's Eye and Angelica Trick or Treat palette. This is a Halloween collab that Oden's Eye did with Angelica Nyqvist here on YouTube. I will have her linked down below for you, but I did get this in the mail the other day, and it is absolutely stunning. And so I let my random number generator pick 5 shades for me, and this is the look that I ended up getting. I am very, very happy with how this came out. I did this video in a get ready with me style, so I start with a completely bare face, and this is the look that I ended up getting. I chit chat about some topics that you guys had dropped in previous comments, so I hope that you guys enjoy. But if you want to see what shades were generated out of the Trick or Treat palette and how I got this look that's on my face, make sure to stick around. Barefaced Erin is coming up. Editing Erin here. This is going to be a long video, so either grab a snack or just put it on while you're getting ready. Also, I did not expect it to be this long, but I hope you guys enjoy the longer video, but we will get back into it now. All right, I am completely barefaced and I am ready to do a get ready with me. There is a little bit of a weird reflection going on my chest, and that's basically because I have my light up simple human mirror in front of me, and with all the rest of my lights, things are kind of bouncing off kind of weird. But we're not here for that. We are here for this beauty. So this is the Oden's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist Trick or Treat palette. So she did come out with 2 different palettes for this collection. The other one had a lot of blues in it, and so I decided to go for this one instead. And so today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me and a palette bingo. So let me go ahead and show you the inside of this one, and it is absolutely stunning. I wanted to do a palette bingo with it as soon as I saw it, just because there is such a wonderful mix of colors in there, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun to have the makeup gods pick my shades for me today. But like I said, we will get to the palette, but let me go ahead and put some other makeup on my face. So I only have my skincare on, including my sunscreen. That's why I am looking extremely glowy right now. But for you guys, and especially Andy, who compliments my skin and how good my skin looks with my makeup on, you probably can see, again, the lights wash a lot of stuff out, but I do have quite a bit to cover. Actually, tomorrow is my appointment with my dermatologist, so I am looking forward to seeing what they have to say. But I'm going to go in with my Jelly Pop primer. I do 2 pumps of this and warm it up between my fingers, and then we're just going to press and rub this in. I do have my palette of my mix of foundation on here, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on while I chat with you guys. And basically, I've never gone to a dermatologist before, even though I do have sensitive skin, but really what I'm continuing to be concerned about is hormonal acne, and then also my redness and my flushing. So these right here are healing from my hormonal acne. Some of this stuff on my neck, I have a couple under here that are healing. And so that is what, I mean, I know it's hormonal. I've gone to my other doctor and he's run a hormone panel, so my hormones are not out of whack, but something is causing me to continuously, every single month without fail in my cycle, get the acne. And I am 39 years old and I'm kind of tired of it. Like, I understand that, like, our skin is going to do what it's going to do, but I don't even know if I struggled this much with hormonal acne or acne in general whenever I was a teenager. I feel like I get more spots now than I did back then, but my doctor has tested me for my hormones, and also they did tests for autoimmune diseases, because with my flushing they were looking for, were they looking for lupus? I can't remember, but I get extremely red on my chest and I get red throughout my face, and so they wanted to know if that was something going on autoimmune wise. But I guess the other part of it is that I am like 27% Irish. So I feel like my flushing just has to do more with my heritage than with my actual, like, anything going on in my body. I'm going to go ahead and pop on some of the Summer Fridays lip gloss just to get something on my lips. There, that feels better. And for anybody who did not see my first Get Ready With Me, or if you're new to my channel, hello. Hopefully Completely Done Erin did a intro to this video, but let me cross my fingers that I remember to do that. But I usually put on one layer of foundation, then I do my eyes, then I touch up with the rest of my liquids, because I want to do or be a little bit sloppy. Pink pot. I want to be a little bit sloppy with my eyeshadow and be able to go in and clean it up. Plus, this is my first time trying Oden's Eye formula and any sort of palettes from them, so I am curious about fallout. And I know Angie loves doing, matte looks and dramatic matte looks, so I would hope that she would look at the formula for the mattes and do something where it isn't going to have a bunch of fallout, but you still get the pigment payoff. I'm assuming that. Now, I did watch her launch video, and I watched her do her demos, but that's been a couple weeks because the palette had to be shipped from Sweden to get here. So I'm just going to tap out a little bit of that paint pot. And I do have a stack of brushes down here, and these are the brushes that I'm going to be using, or my smaller brushes. These are my bigger face brushes, but I do have the Singe Beauty brushes in here because I figured might as well. But I do set down my eyelids with this bigger Moda brush, and I'm going to go into my ColourPop shades that are my focus palette, and I'm going to just set my lids with, I'm sorry for flicking you guys off, but I'm holding way too many things right now. So I have my palette here, and it has 16 shades, and I do have my iPad with my wheel on it, and we are going to see, actually let me screen record it because otherwise my lights are going to just reflect off of the iPad. But I am not cheating with this. I actually want this to be a challenge. I want this to be something really, really neat. So let me go ahead and screen record my my shades that I'm going to get. So we are going to do number 15, which is going to be the second from the last. So that is this shade right here called Cemetery. And then we are going, so let me, oh, this palette's so pretty, but let me go ahead and swatch that one. I'm going to put my color story on my hand so I know what I'm working with. So our first shade is Cemetery. Then we get, let's see here, shade number 7. So that is going to be the shade Deadly, which is this shimmer right here. And that actually works very well with Cemetery. Ooh, that is beautiful. So that is a nice, like, pumpkin-y shimmer. Let's see, what's our next shade? Shade number 9. So ooh, that is our green. I was hoping to get a funky color in the mix. So this is our matte green. And give me a second and I will say what the name of that one is. That is Poison. Perfect name for that one. Our next shade is going to be number 1, which is Mummy's Curse, which is this beautiful kind of light golden. And I think this one is a duochrome that has a little bit of a flip to it. So that, oh, it actually has really pretty different dimensional sparkles in there. So we got that one. And then our last one is number 16, which is our kind of shimmery blue down here. This is going to be an interesting look. So that is our color story right there. That is exciting. Like I said, I was hoping to get the like a funky color in there, either the bright green or the bright orange. But let me go ahead and see what I want to do with these shades. So I only have two mattes, and then the rest are shimmers. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with Cemetery first, which was the first one that I picked, and I'm going to go ahead and get this into the outer crease. So a little bit of kick up in the pan whenever I pick it up, but let's see how it does on the eye. So while I'm doing this, which beautiful pigment and payoff on this, another thing that I want to eventually talk to my dermatologist, and I picked the one that I did. He is a dermatologist and a plastic surgeon, and I think down the line I might want to look into a little bit of Botox or a little bit of fillers. And again, this is not to meet any sort of beauty standards. This is just me wanting to continue to look like me. And so it's not, I'm not even doing it for anybody else. Like, nobody in my life, you know, like my husband's not putting pressure on me to look a certain way. Like, I work from home. I don't even really go into the office anymore. But again, this would just be something for me. I think a lot of people out there, if you have decided to get, you know, Botox or fillers for yourself, you'll completely understand. That blended out beautifully, and I like the pigment. I'm curious with that green, do I do, ooh, I think I know what I want to do with that. Okay, so I'm gonna be bold, and I'm gonna be brave. And what I started with was the EO2, and now I'm gonna go in with the EO1 in that green shade Poison. I'm just picking up a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to tap off because that is a lot of pigment. And we're just going to put this on the inner corner. I'm being really cautious to get it into my crease. I don't want it to come up too high over my crease right now because, like I said, I think I know what I want to do with this look. But what I want to talk to my doctor about down the line is, when I was younger, I had my lip pierced. So I had it pierced twice in the middle and once on the outside. And it wasn't pierced twice in the middle at the same time. I got it done two separate times and it closed up. But word of warning, if I have any younger viewers or if I have anybody who is thinking about getting your lip pierced, do not get it pierced too low. That was my first one down here, because it will eat your gums away on your front bottom teeth. And so I somehow convinced my mom to let me pierce my lip whenever I was 15. And I guess at the time my mom thought there was a whole lot worse things that I could be doing than asking to get my lip pierced. So she let me get it done, and I ended up taking it out about a year or so later because I started noticing that my gums were receding on my lower teeth. I'm gonna go in with the EO5, which is this really like tiny blender, which I love that this comes in this set. So I'm gonna just, still in the Poison shade, but I want to try to bring it up a little bit more, and I want to be controlled with it. But then later on down the line, I got it pierced again, and I got it pierced a little bit higher so it wouldn't interfere with my gums. And then later on down the line, I think I was, like, this was when I was like 21, 22-ish, I had the one pierced on the side. Now, up until this point, I was working at a job that I could have my lip pierced, and also I was still on my mother's health insurance. And so by the time that I had to get off of my mom's health insurance, and I think this was also around the time that like the recession was happening because my mom ended up getting laid off from her job. So I had to get my own health insurance. So I had to get a job that afforded me health insurance. This was before Obamacare. So basically, I went to work at a bank, which I actually really enjoyed my time working in banking, but I could not have my lip pierced working at the bank, so I did take it out. All of that long story to say, I would love to talk to my dermatologist slash plastic surgeon about getting the scars refined. I know it can be done. I know, of course, you're always risking more scars if you're cutting into an area. But for me, I wish that I could go back and tell my younger self that, hey, you're going to have scars on your face. So again, I don't regret it. I was a wild and crazy kid back in the day, but it is something now that I wouldn't mind having those scars taken away. I feel like I see them more than probably anybody else in my life sees them. So I actually really like how this is turning out. I think as I'm looking in my mirror and I kind of tilt my head back so I can see into my crease, I want to bring a little bit more into here. And I don't know a whole lot about color theory, but I'm pretty sure if I mix too much red and green, it'll turn very muddy. So I'm trying to not blend a whole lot where those two meet. But I'm going to go back into Cemetery with the same EO5 and just get a little bit more of this color in my deep crease so that I can really have that defined. All right, now I'm moving on to shimmers. So before I do that, I am going to put down some glitter glue. I do have an oily skin type with oily lids, so I use glitter glue anytime that I'm putting a shimmer on my lids. So I just get a little bit between my fingers, and we're going to lay that down. I think I'm going to do the whole entire lid. Because I have 3 shimmers that I'm going to be working with, I think I'm going to need the entire lid to work with. So have any of you ever had like revisions done for like piercing scars? I know it was really popular to like have your eyebrow pierced, and that left scars on a lot of people. So if you've ever had a scar revision from a piercing, let me know down below. Let me know what your experience was or what the outcome was, because again, anytime that you're cutting into yourself, I'm kind of wary about it, especially because it is something that is cosmetic. So we have the blue, the gold, and the orange. So I think what I want to do, I'm going to go back in with the EO1, which was what we used to first lay down that green shade, and I think I'm going to go into Deadly, which is our shimmery orange, and I'm going to pack that out here. Since this is our deepest shimmer, I do want to keep this more on the outside of the lid. And this is beautiful. This is even with a brush. Typically I use a finger, but I want to be a little bit more controlled. Even with a brush, this shimmer is going down beautifully. I'm not taking it all the way out to the outer corner because I'll build back up that, that deep shade. I just want to get that pigment and that shade down. Let's see, I came in a little bit more to like my pupil line. All right, now we got to make some big decisions. And don't know if this is cheating, but I'm going to lay down the blue, which is Magic Potion, and I'm going to use my finger because this is a little bit more of a flaky shade. So I'm going to use my finger for that, and it going over the green kind of changes it. It doesn't come off strictly as blue. It does pick up that, because this is more of a topper shade, it is a little bit more sheer. So it's picking up a lot of that green shade, which actually, I really like that. This is very pumpkin patch, very pumpkin patch. And then I think where the orange and the green and the blue meet, I'm going to take Mummy's Curse because it is a little bit more of a goldy shade. And I'll pop that kind of in the center. I think I'm also going to use the Mummy's Curse shade in my inner corner. Oh yeah, that'll look beautiful. So down the line, I'll pop that into my inner corner once I have all my concealer and stuff on. But I am really digging how that blue Magic Potion shade looks over the Poison shade. Ooh, that is pretty. So I'm going to go back in with the tiny brush, which is the EO5. I'm going to pick up a little bit more Poison and just kind of redefine that green in the inner crease. And then taking that same brush, I'm going into Cemetery, which is our deepest shade, and I'm just going to tap that into the outer corner so I can redefine the depth out there. So this is the part where I like where I'm at right now, which I would have not thought about combining these shades. And again, it might be a little bit Mardi Gras, it might be a little bit Pumpkin Patch, but that's kind of what this palette is about. But this is where I can get a little bit sloppy, so I'm taking Cemetery on that same EO5, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of the lower lash line. Now for me to do more detailed lower lash line, this brush is a little bit too flexible, so I would want to go in to the EO4, which is more of a smudger type brush, and I'm just tapping like the very ends of the bristles into there, and we're going to bring Cemetery in. So since I haven't done my concealer, I can really smudge this in and smudge it out. If I end up going too far down, it will end up being covered with my concealer, and that I do not mind at all. Do I want to? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go back into Poison with the same brush, and I'm gonna put some green down here just to tie in our top. And again, if I don't like to have it this bold and bright, then my concealer will take care of that. So of course I want to put on the rest of my makeup, and I'll let you guys know whenever I am pulling back into this to finish my eye look. But let me go ahead, and this is now where I'm able to clean up a lot of this. There was a tiny bit of fallout from the orange shimmer shade, but otherwise my under eyes are pretty clean. But let me go ahead and we're going to do the rest of my makeup, and I'm going to chit chat. Another one of you had asked me to do a video about my dogs because you guys see them walking around, and I talk about my puppy dog noises that are always going on. And so I was like, I don't know if I can do a full video just about the dogs, but I would love to talk about them here. So let me get my concealer. So I'm going to go in with e.l.f. Hydrating and put this around. And so we currently have 3 dogs. They are all German Shepherds, and we are kind of German Shepherd people. I'm going to go ahead and dot some concealer around where I'm having my breakouts to kind of cover some of that redness. I have some acne scarring on my cheeks here because, again, hormonal, it shows up on my jaw and cheeks. So I'll put a little bit out here. When I met my husband back in, we started dating in 2007, but I met him through mutual friends in like 2006. But he had a German Shepherd, a female named Zoe. And so when we started dating and, you know, we moved in together, then of course I acquired a German Shepherd also. And I used to always joke that it was her and then me in the rank of things because she did come first. And he actually got Zoe as a puppy, when he got out of the army, he served in Iraq, and so when he got out of the army after his deployment, he got Zoe, and I think that she was absolutely a godsend for him. So, if you know a veteran who has a dog, you probably know that that dog means everything to them. I'm going to do the rest of my cream products. So I have my bronzer and my Franken blush. And so we had Zoe for quite a long time, and she was our only dog. We moved around the state for school, did our internships, and by the time we finally settled down and weren't going to be moving a whole lot, we were like, okay, Zoe needs a friend. And she was 8 years old by this time. And, of course, we worried about her age with a puppy, but, they did really well. And I think that both me and him, because he was a full-time student, like using his GI Bill and that kind of stuff to go to school. So he did not work while he was going to school, and he was able to be home with her a lot. So when he finished school and he was going to be at work and away from the home, we worried about her being lonely. So we ended up getting a puppy back in, or it was Christmas 2012, because he was born in November of 2012. But we ended up getting a baby boy German Shepherd, and we named him Malcolm. And so he joined the gang, and it was just the two of them for a while. And we were in an apartment at that time, and so we could only have two dogs, and really having more than two dogs in an apartment is kind of tight anyway. But we finally decided this is where we wanted to be. We bought our house, and so in 2014, after we bought our house, we brought in another shepherd and another boy. Because it's weird with the girls, because it's like she's the alpha, and so we worried about another female, like, kind of not doing well with her. So we were getting boys. And so we got another boy, and his name was Simon. And I say was because Simon passed away last year due to a heart tumor. And this was something that I was not aware of, but apparently shepherds are predisposed to certain types of cancers, and so heart cancer was one of them. And so that was an ordeal that I would never wish upon anyone. But Simon was like 2 months shy from turning 7 when he passed away. So we got Simon, and Simon, like, he was the biggest baby. He was like 115 pounds, but scared of the wind. He was amazing. But we lost Zoe in 2018, and she was 13 and a half. So she had a good run. And then Simon passed away last year. We still have Malcolm. So after Malcolm, we ended up also getting a rescue. And he is my boy that typically I'm talking to him because he's roaming around. He's also our boy that had surgery. So he's 11. He'll be 12 in the first part of next year. So he is an old man, and I will not show him in videos because he is a rescue. He came from a not so good situation, and that situation is in our town. So because of that, I will not show him. Like, he is not on any of our Facebooks. Like, we never post pictures of him, unless it's like the back of him or something like that. Because even though a lot of times, people think, oh, dogs look the same, I could pick my dogs out of a lineup. Like, I could. So he is our rescue. He, like I said, he did not come from a good situation, but we've had him for about 6 years now. And again, I'm not willing to take any chances of someone recognizing him and telling his past owners slash abusers where he is or what I look like. So that is our boy Jane. And then back in 2020, so between all of this, we also had a Chihuahua that was a rescue. And tell me how a female Chihuahua bosses around German Shepherds, but it worked. The boys absolutely protected that little dog, but she was all of 9 pounds of just fury and hate. But we lost our Chihuahua. Her name was Little Bit. We lost her in 2020. And then a couple months later, we got a message from a friend of ours that there was a lady who had adopted dogs, but she didn't know the female was pregnant. So she adopted these dogs, and basically she ended up with puppies. So she was looking for places for the puppies to go. She had a female that nobody had claimed. And basically, like I said, we're known as the German Shepherd people. So we were given our youngest girl, we were given her back in like November, Thanksgiving time of 2020. And that is Anara. And she is something else. We want to do the DNA test on her because we swear she has Malinois in her, because she wants to climb trees to go after squirrels. She can clear a fence like nobody's business. She has energy for days. She could run around for hours and not get tired, and I just don't get it. I'm used to shepherds that are a little bit more lazy, a little bit more laid back. Like, they want to get their energy out, but they always want to just cuddle with you and, you know, have lazy days too. But she is something else. So she is our youngest. So right now we currently have Malcolm, Jane, and Anara. And if you have been following along with our names, and if you can tell me down below what TV show all of our dogs are named after, I don't have anything for you, but, you know, I'll act really excited in the comments. I'm going in with my Nakia Joy powder. But I'll spoil it. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to write your answers down below. But originally, my husband had named Zoe after the character from Firefly, which is an old, not old, but it is. It's an older show with Nathan Fillion. It was on Fox back in the day. It only ran for like one season, and then they did like a mini movie. And so my husband loved that show, and he named Zoe after one of the main characters, Zoe. So when we got our boy, we knew that Zoe needed her Malcolm. So that's how Malcolm got his name. Jane, we renamed him. So, of course, he didn't come with that name. And people are always very confused when we tell them that our boy dog is named Jane, but it's Jayne. And again, if you've seen the show, you know all about Jane. Then, of course, we had Simon, and then Anara from the show. And so the only names we have left are Kaylee, River, Book, and Wash. And we are considering getting another dog. Like I said, it's been over a year since Simon's been gone, and with me working from home full time now, I kind of feel like I have the emotional and mental and physical time and energy for a puppy. So we are considering getting another dog. And I know, you know, if you comment down below about adopting versus buying, I get it. Like, we have rescued multiple dogs. and we've rescued more dogs that we've been able to rehome to our friends. But with Anara having, she has some behavioral issues and some aggression issues. So I don't want to bring another dog that I don't know their history and I don't know their behavior and like their triggers. I don't want to bring another adult dog into our home when we already have two dogs that are elderly. They're both 11, and then Anara, who is, like I said, she's very, very driven and bitey, and like she plays hard. And I don't want a dog that I don't know their history to snap and go off on her, and there to be an issue. So we understand. We have rescued. We do it all the time. Anytime that I'm at one of the pet stores and they ask for donations, I throw another bag of food on there for the rescues. When our local rescue is asking for paper products and blankets, I'm going to go out to Walmart and buy blankets and bring them down there. Like, I support the rescues, and we've rescued before, but I can't do it right now. Not knowing the temperament is, like I said, I have to protect the dogs that I already own from a situation that could be bad. But if you are a first-time dog owner, or you're getting one dog at a time, or you know your dogs are chill, please try to go adopt. It's an amazing opportunity. But for our situation right now, we are looking to bring a puppy into the pack and have them acclimate that way, and not have a dog come in with their own behaviors already. So I've powdered down my face, and I think I want to go back in with the palette now, and I'm going to just redefine my outer V and the lower lash line. So I'm just going to go in with Cemetery, and this is the EO1. It has a nice little slant to it, so you're able to get a really nice kind of shape. So we'll get Cemetery on the outer edge here. I think I'm going to leave it like this for right now, and maybe come back after I have blush and everything else on to maybe get that green a little bit more vibrant on the lower lash line. But what is my next step? Oh, I did my brows while my face was still wet before I powdered, because for some reason, and tell me if this happens to you guys too, but whenever I'm using a spoolie and I have my makeup freshly done, the spoolie will scrape the makeup off, and then it just looks really weird because I even out my skin tone so much with foundation. So I do my brows with like my big spoolie, which is on my ABH pencil. I do it while my foundation is still wet so I can tap out those marks. So that is just the way I do it. But I put some e.l.f. Wow Brow in there, and then let's see what we're going to do next. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to do my bronzer. And I did not pick out a blush because I didn't know what shades I was going to get, so I will have to see what blush I want for this. But I'm going to take my Franken Bronzer and go in with this. But we are very fortunate to live on a decent sized lot. We are not, I wouldn't call it property, because we are in a neighborhood, but we are in a neighborhood that has relatively large lots that the homes are on. And we are currently looking for property to buy. The market, of course, everybody wants to sell their property right now, but it is super expensive. So I don't know if we'll be able to afford to get what we want. If we had it our way, we would have 10 to 15 acres of wooded area that we could build a house on. Up here where we are, there's a lot of woodlands, there's a lot of creeks and rivers that roll through it. So a lot of the properties we are looking at around here, they do have creeks on them. But of course, we also get a ton of rain up here, so we would just have to make sure that the property does not flood. All of these things that go into thinking about this. Okay, let me grab a blush. I think I'm going to go with ColourPop I Need Space because it does have a little bit of a bronziness to it, but it's been interesting looking at properties because also, you know, you have the cost of the property and then you also have to run electric to it. You either have to do your own well or you have to pay the water company to run lines, and then thank goodness up here we're able to have septic systems so we don't have to tie into like city sewer, but we would have to have a septic put in. And I mean, you're looking at almost half of the cost of what the property is just to get utilities out there. It is something else, but it is a dream that we have had to be on a little bit of property to actually like be able to rescue more dogs and even foster or house dogs. So, you know, this is something that is near and dear to our hearts and something that we really want to do, along with, of course, being out of a neighborhood with an HOA and being far away from neighbors. That would be wonderful too. I'm going to go ahead and spray my face down with my e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Spray. After I spray my face, I do take the flat part of my sponge and I give it a couple spritzes, tap some of the moisture off, and then I just pat down all of my powders. Now I can go in with my highlighting palette. Ooh, and I wanted to take that other shade out of the palette and use that as my inner corner, which I wanted to put Mummy's Curse in my corner. So let me get that on my regular highlighting brush. Let me spray it and see if that gives me, oh yes, that's more impact. It's flaky, and I mean, I get it. I don't know if that is necessarily the look I like for my inner corner, because it almost looks, I don't know. Maybe I'll go over it with my other highlighter to lay down some more base pigment, but I would say, because it just looks like pieces of glitter that are shoved into my inner corner. Maybe I'm buffing it a little bit more and some of those chunks are like melding together and creating more of a look. But I also like to take my highlight shade, and again, I tilt my head back and I go into my crease on the inner corner and I bring some of that highlight shade up. It's a weird shade. I don't know how I feel about that because I don't feel like I have the same amount of control because it is flaky. So like the flakes stick down and then you're trying to get them to blend out, and that's not the easiest thing to do. So maybe with that shade, which was Mummy's Curse, that one you might just want to do as an all over the lid shade, but I'm going to go in with my regular highlighting palette and kind of clean some of that up and smooth it out. I'm going to take a little bit of that and bring it under the eyes just to add the sparkle down there and up on the brow bone. So when I'm talking about Anara, up until very recently, I had to take her outside like every time we went out to go potty or to run around. I would have to take her out on the leash because she could jump the fence. And it was to the point that I was worried that either she would get hurt because we have deer that come out of the woods behind us, that either she would chase a deer into the woods and I wouldn't be able to find her, or that she would go after one of the kids playing on the playground or our next door neighbors. Like our neighborhood is full of kids. So I took her out on the leash every time she had to go out, even though we have a fenced in backyard. And so over the past weekend, we just got a new fence put up, and it basically blocks her view of anything outside the yard. And it has been night and day. So she was very reactive to things she would see. Like the neighbors left a soccer ball out in their yard because they have kids. So I mean, they're allowed to leave stuff in their yard. But even at like 5 o'clock in the morning, it's dark out. She sees this soccer ball over in their yard, and she jumped the fence to go attack the ball. And so that is what I'm talking about, her being reactive and her having behavior stuff. And I mean, we've taken her to obedience, so she has, you know, relatively good obedience, but there's just something in her that, like, if she would have had her choice in careers, she would have loved to have been a bite dog for the police. Like, if she could bite people every day, she would be happy. And I kind of feel bad as an owner because I don't have the time to devote to, doing more specialized like bite training with her so that she actually like can do what she wants to do. I don't want her to bite anybody, but if she did go to like bite training where she could learn to be more of like a protection dog, I think that she would love that. But she is basically a firm missile. It is insane how much energy she has. But over the past couple days, since we've had the new fence up, she runs around off leash. She doesn't bark as much. She's not triggered by things around her. She's able to like just enjoy her backyard, and it is night and day. So, when you have a reactive dog, number one, you have to be a responsible owner. And Simon, whenever he was with us, he had fear aggression. And so with him, every time that I took him to the vet, I put a muzzle on him. I would make sure that I had control over him to protect, the vet staff. And basically he wasn't mean, he just didn't want anybody else touching him, and he got so scared. Like anytime he went to the vet, he was so scared he would pee. So like he was terrified. And what do the dogs do? They either cower or they bite and they run away. So that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to bite and run away. And thank God, again, he never bit anybody because we never put him in that situation where he had to. We always made sure that we had control over him. And again, for the safety of the dog and the safety of anybody who came around us or, who we took him around. So I think that there is that part of being a responsible dog owner that if you do have a reactive dog, you have to spend the time, you have to make sure that they are safe and that other people are safe from your reactive dog. And again, nobody can blame me. I mean, she came reactive. she came like that. It's just we make sure that we try to make her as comfortable and feel safe as possible. I'm trying to figure out if I want to put any liner on this look. Let me grab my NYX liner in Chartreuse and see how that looks, giving that pop of green on the lower lash line more of a kick. So I just want to take this on the lower lash line and see if this bumps it up a notch and gives it more of that like toxic waste green look on the bottom. I do like that. I like that it added a little bit more green down there. So I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes. But just seeing Anara be, comfortable and carefree and be able to spend time in the backyard without constantly being tied up, like, it has made my heart so happy. And while, of course, you guys know nowadays, like, everything is expensive and we've been saving for the fence, but just seeing how big of a difference it has made for her is worth every single dollar that we spent. We do not have children, and got mascara all over my lid, but we'll clean that up. And this might be something, I don't know if you guys would want me to talk about it or if it's, again, like a content warning for people, but I am not able to have children, and this was something that I did not find out until I was already married. I've had some not so good run-in with doctors in the past about this. Um, and so that's just kind of where we're at. We have come to accept it. I, and again, I think that a lot of times people, they see a woman in their late 30s and, they'll ask if they're going to have kids, and it doesn't offend me. Like, I understand that that is the natural course of things, that most times, most, I don't want to say most, but a lot of women become mothers. A lot of women want to be mothers. A lot of people go through a lot of pain and agony and emotional, strife to have children, and I totally get that. But I think by the time I was like 34 and it wasn't happening, and I had talked to my doctors about it and kind of figured out what was going on, I think that we kind of made peace with it. We had talked about adoption, but I was just getting established in my job, and we were talking with our friends that had already had kids and all, because bless it, a lot of people understand that childcare costs a lot of money. And quite frankly, with me having just finished up my degree and my husband wanting to go back for his doctorate, we did not have an extra $800 a month for childcare. And so it kind of was one of those things where I was like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, that's fine too. Um, I kind of, when my doctor would talk to me, I was like, well, we're not preventing, but we're also not trying. And that's kind of the stance that we had on it. Um, but, at this point, now that I am very close to 40, I am adamant that, like, I don't want to be pregnant at 40. Like, no, no, thank you. We've come to terms with it. The other thing on our list, and I don't know how much I'll go into like my educational background or what I do for work. Maybe later on I can go into that a little bit. But I do work with elderly people, and so I see a lot of times when elderly people do not have family around, if they did not plan for what they wanted for either end of life care or late in life care, then it is a big fiasco. So, one of the things on our list is for us to meet with an estate planner and kind of go through everything, do our wills. And I think that this might be another topic for another day, but for younger people, like, don't be afraid to do your end of life planning now. And again, because I've worked with the elderly, um, this is a topic that I can really go into because I have seen it from all different angles, and I think that people that put their heads in the sand and don't want to talk about it ever, they're basically saying, I can't deal with this, and so I'm going to make somebody else deal with this when I am either not here anymore or I'm not competent anymore. And that is, this is going to be harsh, but it's very selfish. And I get we all have reasons why we don't want to talk about certain things, but it's very selfish to leave that off on somebody else. But it's not right to do. This topic took a wide turn, but I'm going to go ahead and do my lips. So I'm going to do my lip liner, and I can't talk while I'm doing this. So yeah, because we don't have kids, we're going to meet with a estate planner, and we've done our advance directives, and we're going to do a will, and we have 2 nephews and a niece, but again, we are not going to put it off on them to make these decisions, and we want to make the decisions for ourselves now. But if y'all want me to go into bigger detail and maybe tell some like stories from my my work life as far as why it's important to talk about these things or why it's important to get these things done, Let me know down below. I know, again, this is a topic that a lot of people don't talk about, and it can be hard to talk about, but, you know, I think kind of hearing what myself and other families have gone through, because not only with work, I have some personal experience. My dad passed away back in 2013, and I managed all his stuff. My mother-in-law unexpectedly passed away, and we're still trying to deal with that. We actually have to meet with a probate lawyer for that one. So I mean, we've had some things go on that, like, we see it in our own lives, and we're like, we're not doing this to other people in our family, and we're not going to do this to our spouses. Kind of leave them in the lurch and leave them kind of footing all the decisions. If you have ever been in the position where you've had to make decisions for somebody, then you understand how difficult it can be if you did not talk about their wishes prior to needing to make those decisions. So I think this is the look. I'm gonna end up like putting my hair down and changing my shirt, because I always do my makeup in like a tank top, because actually, where's my, I can do the bronzy drops real quick, and all I do is I do one there and one there, and then I just blend it out on the chest. So let me get changed and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I put on a green shirt and I have my pumpkin earrings on. So I am feeling ready for fall and ready for Halloween to come. And so this was my first impression and a palette bingo with the Trick or Treat palette with Oden's Eye and Angelica. And I have to say, I am impressed. Beautiful. And I think that where this shines is the mattes. And again, that does not surprise me. I know Angelica loves her matte shadows, so I am not surprised that the matte formula in here is absolutely gorgeous. Some of the shimmers, like I said, I've only used 3 of them, and 2 of them were more of that like flaky topper type of formula. That might not be my favorite from Oden's Eye, but the shade here that was Deadly, which was my like kind of pumpkin orange shimmer that I used, that worked beautifully. So for me, it's probably just the flaky topper formula, which is not going to be my favorite from this brand, but I do absolutely love this palette. And this kind of makes me, and again, I have to be careful because of my collector's mentality, I kind of want to pick up the other palette. And I'll have to see if it's still in stock. I might have to commandeer some more money from my birthday gifts that I got this year to pick up the other palette, because the purples really are calling to me. But with 4 of the shadows in there being blue shadows, I really have to take a step back and say, would that make sense in my collection? But I am thrilled to have it, happy with the formula. I am very, very impressed with the look that I came up with the 5 shadows that were randomly generated. I hope that you guys enjoyed this Get Ready With Me. I hope that you enjoyed me talking about my puppy dogs and maybe some more serious topics at the end. Again, with the line of work that I do, that's kind of the life or the world that I live in, and I'm very passionate and very positive about it. So again, if you guys have any other topics that you would like for me to talk about in Get Ready With Me's, I think that I would love to do some more palette bingos. I love the challenge of the makeup gods randomly picking my shades for me. So this was a ton of fun, and I am super happy with the look that I came up with. I hope that you guys enjoyed my Get Ready With Me, and I'm going to encourage you to do all the things. Make sure to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more, project panning, conscious consumerism, beauty budget, palette videos, that kind of content. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my uploads. Again, drop me a comment down below. Tell me about your pets and let me know about any topics that you would like me to talk about. I really do appreciate all of you, and I will catch you in my next one.